Hi, my name is Clark Callahan, and I'm running for the Douglas County School Board. I'm running because as a dad and as an educator, I know firsthand the profound impact that our schools have on our kids' lives. I know what it's like when my 9-year-old son comes home with tears in his eyes and says, "Dad, I hate school and I'm not going tomorrow." And I also know what it feels like when he finds his niche. For us, it was Wings Over the Rockies. Our son loves aviation, and his school allowed him to go to flight school 1 day a week. All of a sudden, school became more relevant, interesting, and real. I know what it's like when my daughter comes home and says, "Dad, I don't think I'm learning hard enough stuff to become a doctor." And I know what it's like when she finds the right academic fit and that dream comes alive again. I know what it feels like when our youngest daughter, night after night, reading bedtime stories and something just doesn't feel right. The test scores look fine, but the reading comes much harder than it did with our other two. Fortunately, my wife is a special education teacher, and she was able to sit down with Savannah and give her some screeners. And through that process, we learned that she has dyslexia, and that changed everything because we were able to get her the support that she needs. It was just last week I was coming home from a late night and walking upstairs to tuck her in. And she was sitting up in bed, reading a bedtime story out loud to herself. And that's what can happen when our schools are working. I'm running because I want to help create a district that works for every single one of our kids, regardless of their interests or their challenges. I got into education 22 years ago. Out of college, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. My dad encouraged me to go to business school. The last summer of that program, when you're supposed to take a big internship, I took a job at a summer camp. But I was really lucky that summer because I fell in love twice. First with teaching, and second with the camp director, who's now my wife. After that summer, I went on to become a public school teacher just outside of New York City, teaching math and business. Then went on and got a master's in education and became a principal of the school that I was teaching at. 13 years ago, Sally and I decided we wanted to start a family, and I convinced her to move back here to Colorado. At the time, it was a cheaper place to live. I'm not sure we can still say that today. I got a job that's been the most rewarding and challenging job I've ever had, turning around an alternative ed campus in Denver. At the time I took the job, we only had 1 year to turn it around or the school was going to be closed. So we got together an awesome group of educators. We used data to make our decisions. And within 3 years, the school went from the lowest performing alternative ed campus in the district to one of the highest. 2 years after that, our enrollment started to surge and we opened a second campus. And today I'm proud to be the executive director of that organization. From that experience, I've learned three things that really guide my work. Use data, not guesswork, to make decisions. Two, always make sure there are multiple pathways for young people to be successful, whether that's college, a trade, the military, or something entirely different. And third, be disciplined with the finances so that every young person has the resources they need to be successful and so that we can compensate our educators competitively. If we want a district that works for all of our young people, then we need leaders who know what's at stake, leaders who know what it's like to sit across the table from a young person who's struggling and who have the experience to do something about it. My name is Clark Callahan. I'm running for the Douglas County School Board. I have experience you can trust, outcomes you can see, and I hope to earn your vote in November.